Hello and welcome to the OK Takes podcast. I am Matt, and as always, I'm joined by my fellow capo, Edward. As of 9:10 p.m. West Coast time, we just witnessed one of the ugliest games we will ever see on Thursday night, or at least I hope so, because I don't know if I could do this a second time.
Yeah, this was, if it wasn't for the last 10 minutes, this would have been the worst game of the year. Like going into the fourth quarter, there were more points or there were more punts than points scored total.
Yeah, I had that stat written down as well. I think that's the greatest way to sum up how bad this Ravens and Dolphins game was until the last 10 seconds of the game.
And then, yeah, like in the fourth quarter, it went field goal, fumble return touchdown, punt, touchdown, interception, end of game. So they just saved everything for like the last 10 minutes. And then the whole first three quarters was punt, 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 punt. Like the biggest storyline of the first half was Justin Tucker missing a field goal. That was the
Honestly, that's how it
biggest, that
felt.
was the, I'm not even like joking. I genuinely believe the biggest storyline of the entire first half.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. This was gross. This was actually very mean of the NFL. For a second, I was thinking that, but then it hit me. Oh yeah, this is what I was praying for during lockdown last year.
Yeah. If you would have sent a copy of this game to lockdown versions of us, we would have been like, holy shit, this was a great game.
Mhm.
Like, thank God the NFL is back.
Oh yeah, no. If you sent a tape of this to me, like let's call it July 2020, when things were just awful, and during that summer it was so bad because you were thinking there's no way that football will be played. If you gave me that tape during that time, I would have watched reruns of it like The Office.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would have played that fumble return for a touchdown like 16 times over and over again.
Mhm. And then I also would have just had on once again like a 15-second loop of the lineman scoring a touchdown. And let's be honest. Okay, yeah, he was ineligible, but it's a touchdown. I don't care. John Harbaugh's a bitch.
Yeah. Like, what is
Excuse
he?
me.
He
Yeah.
has to know to decline that. Is that even a declinable penalty? Because like
It's
my immediate thought was like, John Harbaugh's got to know better. But then I thought maybe it's one of those penalties you can't decline.
yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's declinable. Of course it is. But I think you should, honestly, as a coach, I think you should just challenge the rule book. What if we did that? What if we just said, yeah, I want to take this to court?
Yeah, they should just make it a rule that there's no such thing as an ineligible receiver.
Mhm.
That anyone on the O line, anyone can catch the ball.
Let's make it fun. Let's make it like flag football. Flag football's fun. Everybody loves flag football. Nobody complains about linemen catching balls in flag football. So yeah, I mean, there's four more people on the field, but who cares?
Yeah, I would love it, but they call it the no fun league for a reason.
Mm-hmm. At least we didn't get any stupid taunting penalties.
I honestly, the way the Dolphins defense were celebrating, and by the way, they were electric tonight. The way the Dolphins defense was celebrating, I was just waiting for the flags.
Yeah. Let's start there. Let's start there. Because I mean, I wanted to key in on that because I think it was setting up for a great comeback by the Ravens. Because the way the events played out is that like, okay, the Dolphins have this game in the bag. It was what 22-3. Yeah, it was 22-3 when they're punting it away at the end of the game. And not only was it like a nice punt, they were able to pin it on the one. And then Mac Hollins hit a greedy.
I immediately texted you. I said that was the most electric punt I've ever seen because first of all, found at the one, and then he started hitting the greedy, and then like the punter was jumping up into his like teammates' arms and like dapping everybody. It was just like it was awesome.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Was it worth it? Was the greedy worth it? Because that really could have bit them in the ass. I don't know. I think if you're the Dolphins, though, you have to do that. Now I'm thinking about it's like, yeah, if you're the Dolphins, you're allowed to do whatever you want because no one expects anything out of you. No one is gonna old takes expose you of like, oh yeah, this is the moment where you weren't gonna make the playoffs. It's like with a team with no expectations, you're allowed to do whatever you want. Honestly, if the punter wanted to go around and moon the sideline, then I think he moon the Ravens, then I think he should have.
Exactly. When you're 2-7, you can kind of do what you please.
Yeah, you could commit the Randy Moss disgusting act of humanity.
Exactly. Just do it. Just have, as long as you're having fun out there.
Mm-hmm. That was so electric. And then we have like when you come back for commercial, when you see the Ravens, and it's crazy enough, like Jesus, they really were pinned on the 1 yard line, like heels on the end zone. And then you see the Miami defensive line just grooving away right in front of their faces, just swinging dick.
I think even Troy Aikman called it out. It was like, that's not what you want to see when you're the opposing quarterback, because that shows you that they're comfortable, like they're having fun, like they don't have a care in the world right now. Like they're just out there balling.
But then they actually started to play.
Yeah, I was gonna say going into those final drives where the Ravens actually scored points, the Dolphins defense had 4 sacks, 7 QB hits, a fumble recovery touchdown, and only 3 points allowed. And then, the penalties and just
yeah. And I think once again, roughing the passer honestly, the roughing the passer has become so subjective that Troy Aikman thought that we should be able to challenge it.
I think you should. If you can challenge pass interference, I think you should be able to challenge.
But where does it end?
The passer.
Where does it end? Are we going to start challenging delay of game penalties? Because if
I
honestly think you should. I think you should be allowed to challenge some delay of game penalties. Because
what you should be able to challenge is a penalty where it's like one player impedes another, like one player penalizes one player. So not like you said, delay of game, not false
all you have
start,
to do is snap it.
not
all you have to do is snap it. That's 2 people. That's 2 people.
Yes. No. You should be able to challenge pass interference, roughing the passer. Where can I think of what that other one's called? Can you challenge unnecessary roughness?
You should, at least with all these, and that's what I'm saying, is that like,
okay, you know what, I'm on your side. You should be able to challenge anything you want.
You're allowed. I think you should be able to have, oh God, this is going to slow down the game so much, but like for each individual penalty you're allowed 1 challenge for a delay game. You're allowed 1 challenge for holding on offense or defense. You have to pick one. You have 1 challenge on a pass interference. You have 1 challenge for roughing the passer. And then if I didn't already mention unnecessary roughness, then that.
I'm in. I'm all in on that.
Yeah, penalties are such bullshit. So why don't we just start finding ways to get them right, but then it also benefits a team? Because there's nothing worse than having refs like come together after a game. You see it on Twitter that like, yes, I actually did get the holding penalty wrong on the most important play of the game.
Or we just penalties. There's just no law and order in football. They just play. No penalties at all.
Yeah.
It's just rugby. It's rugby and like hockey and all that combined. Well, I guess there's penalties in hockey, but there's no penalties. You just play.
It'd be also a very dumb idea that only comes out of us after you've watched a bunch of football is football on ice.
Yes. No skates though. They're just running on cleats on ice.
Oh my. Yeah. Yeah. That'll actually go very well. I feel like football players would love to slam somebody in a wall.
Oh, if football players could fight like they're allowed to in hockey, or like, could you like, there would be, people would be in concussion protocol every week. Like every player would be in concussion protocol.
Yeah. And honestly, if Lamar was in concussion protocol, it wouldn't have surprised me. Actually, okay, that was kind of mean. I'll be honest. I take that back. That was very mean. But
yeah, that was a little. That
was much. That was too much. That was too much.
That was uncalled for.
Hand up. That was too much.
You know what? I'm glad you can admit it.
Yeah, I am responsible for the things I say.
Good. I'm glad you know that.
Yeah, Lamar was very bad. The Ravens' offense was very bad. But once again, classic Lamar, where he's going to save face at the end. Except this time, it didn't really amount to anything. Because in the last 2 drives, the 300 of their 4 yards in the entire game came on those 167 of them came on the last 2 drives. So that's like over half of your yards and like pretty much half your offense is came at the end. It's
Garbage time.
it
Yeah.
was so bad. And just another note that I wanted to point out just how grueling this game was is that both teams combined to go 5 for 27 on third down. And the Ravens play calling on third down was nauseating.
I feel like every third down play was a screen pass that got blown up and Lamar ended up throwing it short of his receiver.
Yes.
And it bounced into his arms, and that was just it. That was it. Punt.
Oh my God. The amount of times I saw Devontae Freeman go out, and even before the pass was thrown, I knew it was going to him and it would not end up in a first down. It would, like, if that was a drinking game, I'd be passed out.
Yeah, that's a death sentence.
Oh, so I don't know what's going to happen with this offense. But also nothing I want to talk about was Tua, because what the hell is going on with the Miami Dolphins quarterback situation? It is very confusing because it was stated going into the game that Jacoby Brissett was going to start instead of Tua because Tua had a fracture in his middle finger, or excuse me, a fractured middle finger.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, well, why is he still being able to play even though you can't start him? Well, then Jacoby Brissett ends up getting hurt and Tua has to then come in for him. But then Jacoby Brissett was ready to go back into the game, and then Tua, and then Brian Flores waived Jacoby Brissett off, was like, no, we're going to stick with Tua.
Yeah, it's a really weird situation. And I mean, Tua, he ended up kind of settling in later on in the game. He was all right. He was bad to start, but I do have to say he got better as he played more. I think he was probably rusty early on, but yeah, that was really weird to see Brissett like just standing there on the sidelines, kind of waiting to go in.
Yeah, I don't know. It was the part that made it really kind of frustrating. If I was a Dolphins fan, that would be really frustrating. Is that, okay, we did the same thing with Ryan Fitzpatrick last year, and now we're kind of doing the same thing with Jacoby Brissett. Is there something about Tua we don't know about that he's just not that good?
Yeah, I
I don't know why
honestly,
you're like this. I mean, this is, and it would be one thing if Tua was drafted in the second round or in the third round. If it was like a Drew Lock, for example, who is like
yeah.
bottom tier of the better QBs of the draft. Okay, well, this is not Drew Lock. This is guys you used your second overall pick on. Why do you need the leash? If he's not ready, then don't play him. And if he's not ready, then that probably means A, he's doing something wrong, or B, you fucked up in the process of getting him ready to start.
Yeah, I think right now it honestly seems like there might be a lack of trust from Brian Flores. Is that their head coach?
Mm-hmm.
Brian Flores and Tua. There might be a lack of trust if they're really that hesitant, because wasn't Tua ready to go last week and they didn't even play him last week either? They stuck with Brissett, and then this week he's his middle finger's healing and it's better and he's ready to go, but they still started Brissett instead, and they don't why would you? I don't know, like he was in trade rumors, so if you didn't trust him, why wouldn't you try to get something in return for him?
Yeah, that's what made it very strange as well. It's like, okay, and the guy you're wanting to trade for has 23 counts of sexual assault being charged against him right now. And so maybe not the best guy you want to trade for, but then it's also pretty telling of how you feel about Tua. So the fact that there were even rumors circling and you're like, yeah, we just weren't able to get a trade we liked, you still were willing to take on the most controversial player in football right now.
Yeah, and that just shows there's got to be a lack of trust. Maybe Tua they just don't think he has it, and so at this point, you just got to commit to not playing him.
Yeah, to start the awful trading process of where you will get nothing in return.
Yeah.
Or just play him. Like, this is I
Or
mean, you guys,
let him learn. Yeah, let him
this is
grow.
a fuck it year.
He's never going to grow unless he plays, and he's never going to correct those mistakes and earn that trust unless he plays. So just let him play. You're 3-7. You're not going anywhere.
Exactly. Like, you guys got your fun win. You guys got your primetime fun win. People were rooting for you. And then that was it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be an interesting, I mean, not just the rest of this year, but honestly, in years like ahead, like it's going to be interesting to see how Tua progresses and if the Dolphins actually try to build a team around him and if they believe in him.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
All right, so that is our recap of Thursday Night Football with the Ravens and Dolphins. Dolphins pretty much whooped that ass. So we are then going to go into our gambling picks right now, which we recorded before Thursday Night Football. So here you guys go. Boom. All right, so we're recording this before the Thursday night game. And my first pick of the week will be Lions Steelers under 42.5. So I don't know if you heard about the storyline because it happened last week, but Dan Campbell officially buried all tape from the Eagles' loss where they got blown out 44-6.
Yeah, that was bad.
Well, what part?
All of it. Just the 44-6 was bad.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, my whole take on burning the tape, or excuse me, not burning. I think one, it would have been cooler if he actually doused it in gasoline and just threw a match on it. That would have been some cool content. And
yeah, I mean, he should have.
Yeah, like he strikes me as a fire guy.
Oh, yeah, he loves fire. He probably does the little lighter trick where you run your finger through it. Like he probably sits at home doing that for hours on it.
Mm-hmm. Or if he's like, I'm blanking on the name right now, but the guys in Hawaii who are the fire twirlers.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called.
Yeah. So as far as like burning the tape goes, my problem with burning the tape is what about the teams who could see the tape? Like you might forget about it, but everybody else remembers. So I feel like you're not really accomplishing anything.
No, not at all.
Because it's not like when you bury the tape, you bury it from everybody else.
Yeah. And you're right. Like they could just, I don't know. It's like, I just don't know about the Lions and Dan Campbell. I like the pick of the under here. When it comes to the Steelers, I also feel like they've never hit the over. Like the Steelers just scream under. Any team with Ben Roethlisberger as quarterback just screams under to me. But
mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess my like actual analysis for the under is that I mean the Lions offense is so garbage. It's really, I mean, especially after the 44-6, it's really hard to bet and to bet and say, yeah, I think they will score points. No, that's not going to happen. And then the other part is after a huge Monday night game where Ben was taking hits all night, so he's taking hits all night. And now it feels like a game where you could just kind of bubble wrap him and then from there, like, okay, well, they'll hand the ball off the whole entire time. But now today it was reported that Najee Harris has an injury.
yeah, do they still have Rudolph?
Yes, I'm pretty sure they do. I don't think they have Duck Hodges anymore, but I'm pretty sure I saw Mason Rudolph on the sidelines.
Just bench Big Ben. Give Mason Rudolph another go. He's not going against Myles Garrett, so there shouldn't be any problems.
Yes, that he will remain with his skull intact.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No Adam Schefter one-word tweets.
Yeah, no. Oh God, I wish we could get another assault.
That's
actually that's a little bit of foreshadowing to a take I have later on. But yeah, so and then just like a little bit more for the game. So these are two teams from North divisions, AFC and NFC. And when you're in the North, you don't give me the over aura. None. It's like when you think of when you think of this matchup, you think of black and white film with guys wearing leather helmets and a field goal post in the beginning of the end zone.
Yeah, nobody in those North teams except for maybe the Ravens gives off any over vibes.
Bonk.
Pause.
Jesus. I mean, it's okay if football makes you a little horny, but to actually reach full climax, come on. Actually, I think that might happen if Dan Campbell gets his first win. I think
yeah. When people need to be on the lookout when Dan Campbell gets his first win.
Yeah, I mean, he strikes me as somebody who's going to like tell a water boy to go fetch him a towel and put it just in case it comes. Oh, yeah. No pun intended, but yeah.
They're going to need to have towels on deck for him.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
if they win. They win a game.
Maybe an old like Megatron sock.
Yeah, childhood sock. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, and like contribute to Megatron,
Oh
so
yeah, Megatron. Yeah.
not
Thought
the actual
Megatron
Megatron.
was no. My first thought was the Transformer.
Yeah, jeez. All right. And then that topic just came out of nowhere. I was not expecting that we would be talking about Dan Campbell shooting his load into a Megatron sock.
Okay, but we have to specify which Megatron. Is it the Decepticon
Of
or the
course,
football player?
of course. What are you nuts?
Okay. I just needed clarification.
Yeah. All right. And then this guy is alive. Player of the week is Kalen Balaj. Kalen Balaj is alive.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. All right. And then what is your first pick?
Rocking with my Saints again this time, though. I'm taking under 44 and a half on the road to Nashville to take on the Titans. Trevor Siemian at quarterback, you'd be hard pressed to find me thinking the over is ever going to hit in a Saints game. And especially a team like the Titans, I feel like they're one of those teams that plays for the under. They're like a really gritty, like smash mouth type of team. And especially now that they don't have Derrick Henry, even more like so they kind of proved last week that they're a really gritty team. And yeah, I just don't see how this Saints offense is going to really find a rhythm, even with Taysom Hill. So I like the under on that one.
Mm-hmm. So at least for me with this game is two things. One is Sean Payton going to use Kamara, but then actually now I'm thinking about it right now, I saw that like Kamara's once is another player was listed with an injury.
He's banged up a little bit. So he's questionable to play.
And then the other part is like, are the Titans for real? Are the Titans for real? Because everybody is saying that the Titans are among the 2 or 3 best teams in the AFC, but the whole entire Titans offense was Derrick Henry. I don't know how people are still saying that the Titans are going to make it to an AFC championship game.
No, yeah, I don't think so. And I honestly think this is a really big test because the Saints defense, we all know, really freaking good. So if they can go out and prove that they're not just a one-dimensional offense and Tannehill can put up some yards on the Saints, then I'll be like, okay, the Titans are for real. But I think this might be a trap game for Tennessee. So I think it's this. This is one of the more from an objective standpoint, this is one of the more fascinating games of the week.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. I think a lot of people are looking forward to it. But the part that makes me so confused with the Saints is that you mentioned one dimensional, but last week the one dimensional was Trevor Siemian.
Yeah. I don't have much to say on Siemian.
Okay, well, here's actually a good question for you and then any Saints fans that are listening. Why aren't you guys starting Taysom Hill?
Okay, well, from what I understood, he was hurt, but he played last week, right? Like he was on the field a little bit last week.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to ease him in. That would be my guess. They don't want to just throw him into the fire immediately. They kind of want to ease him back from his concussion. But I feel like there's no way to be eased back from a concussion. Like you're going to get hit in the head regardless of what position you play.
Yeah, no, if you're coming in from a concussion, you either make sure it's healed or you don't play. Coming from somebody who has a PhD in neurology.
It's not like this is a sprained ankle where you can run a little bit and then, ease your way into it. You either are healed from your concussion or you're woozy.
Yeah, so I guess what his pregame routine should be is just slam his head into a locker and then see how that feels. Kind of give it 20 minutes, slam it again, and a third time, and it's all right. The third time's a charm, and if you still have a concussion after the third one, then yeah, you probably shouldn't play. So that is my advice for Taysom Hill. Slam your head to a locker at 3 times with every 20 minutes, and if that feels fine, then yeah, you should be good to go.
Like you said, coming from someone with a PhD in neurology.
Mm-hmm. Insert Johnny Sins. This is who I was shadowing.
And going into the season, I always thought that the Saints, my prediction was they were going to try to run a 2 QB system with Jameis and Taysom Hill, where they kind of split the touches. This week, I actually would not be surprised if they try that.
I hate it.
I hate it too, but I'm just saying I would not be surprised if Sean Payton said you're going to get 20 20 throws. Taysom, you're going to get 20 throws.
Honestly, fuck it. Just go full Army or Navy. I want to see something where you have two fullbacks in at all times. I want to see Taysom Hill in never ever go in the shotgun. I want to see him behind the center the whole entire time. And you should just put up 15 play drives. That's it. Because your defense is good enough to where they can support you if you put up, I don't know, 17 to 24 points. So that should be the goal. Just take as much time out of the game. And then after that, you'll leave with a win.
And yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you heard the quote from Alvin Kamara. He said he was ready to get his Drew Brees on. So if he's healthy, might as well chuck Alvin Kamara behind the center.
Well, okay, which version? Because is this him actually having to run some trick plays on like a random like if it gets a screen pass to the outside and then he has to chuck it like Julian Edelman in the playoffs? If he has to do that, then that might be ugly.
No, this is just Alvin Kamara, just pocket passer. I'm ready for that at this point. I just want him to sit in the pocket to work. Just carve up the Titans defense.
Fair. And then, yeah, I mean, I can't wait till we record again on Sunday and it turns out that the Titans are frauds.
I hope. Saints need to win in the worst way, especially with moves being made amongst other NFC South teams. Like, Saints need to win. They need to win this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, then my next pick is Vikings Chargers over 52.5. Look, I made a dumb move. I bet against Justin Herbert last week. Hand up, I fucked up. Now, I'm happy about that because it reminded myself that Justin Herbert is good. I needed that. I needed a little kick in the ass and a little thump on the back of the head to remind me that you should bet on Justin Herbert.
Oh, yeah. Justin Herbert's awesome. I think he's averaging 293 passing yards per game, which is pretty good. And, he has like 18 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Like people needed to pump the brakes on the Justin Herbert criticism, I thought.
Yeah, I am people. Like, I'll be honest. After 2 really shitty games, I was like, yeah, dude, I just don't see. I was kind of sniffing a little bit of sophomore slump. And that's the problem is when you lose a bet on a guy, your whole entire perception of him changes. Because I had the over in the Chargers and Ravens game where I think the Chargers put up 3 points and stunk.
Did they get blown out?
Yeah. It was 30. It was 30. I'm pretty sure it was 34-3.
Yeah. So you're right. There has been flashes of a sophomore slump, but then again, he's shown flashes like last week of, oh my God, he's generational.
Because man, if they score on going from the 1-1, then you're like, oh, this was actually a really good day on offense.
Yeah.
And that probably
how do you go 1-1 and not score?
Yeah, and that honestly would have changed a lot of the game as well. Yeah, so that's the reason why I'm going with the Chargers. And then so also hope Keenan Allen will be fine. He's another guy that's on the injury report, so hope everything will be healed for him come Sunday. And then as far as the Vikings go, after watching them play the Ravens last week, I just hope Mike Zimmer goes full fuck up mode because he is so conservative and he has shown examples of him letting loose and letting Kirk Cousins rip it. Justin Jefferson had a 65-yard touchdown last week, but then it was weird. He just like turtled back and went back in his little shell and was like, no, we're just going to run shitty little tosses to Dalvin Cook and then little dump offs to Tyler Conklin that go nowhere.
Are the Vikings, I know we talked about purple purgatory. Are they the kings of games being decided by 1 possession or less? Like 1 score or less, I mean? Like,
dude, yeah.
I was looking at their results: 3-point loss, 4-point loss, 6-point win, 2-point win, 7-point loss, 1-point loss, 3-point loss.
And they're heartbreakers, man. Like our for example, first game of the year against the Bengals, that was a heartbreaker. And then either the following week or 2 weeks later against the Cardinals, that was another heartbreak.
Following week. Yeah.
So it's been bad for them. And then obviously last week we just saw overtime against the Ravens. And that was an awful game on offense in the second half for the Vikings. They didn't score again. they didn't score their actual first points on offense because they had the kick return. That was their only points heading into the last drive. But yeah, they didn't score in the second half on offense till a minute left. Literally minute and 3 seconds left. First time they scored. And we just saw that, like, why does Mike Zimmer get so conservative?
Yeah, I mean, questions. And if some of those games had flipped, we'd be looking at the Vikings as like one of the best teams in football.
Exactly. So, I mean, my mentality is the same. I'm right there with you when it comes to seeing them as a team where you're just like, come on, just flip, just do a little topsy-turvy that motherfucker. And then you are looking at a really good team. So yeah. In order for the topsy-turvy, it's going to start with Mike Zimmer and the play calling. And frankly, I think the fans are just going to kill him. Like, that's if this comes down to a game where the Vikings, if they were more aggressive, they would have won. Or if it was not on the defense, it was on the offense, then yeah, I think all the Vikings fans are just going to grab Mike Zimmer and stuff him in that fat ass horn that they have in the stadium. And he'll just be trapped in there.
Yeah. And this is a big week. This for both of these teams. I mean, the Chargers are locked in a really tight divisional race where every team has 5 wins. And groundbreaking analysis here, if you're the Vikings, being 4-5 is much better than being 3-6. So only hard-hitting analysis here on OK Takes.
Yeah. Did you also know that you have to move the chains, establish the run, and score more points than the other team? Oh no, don't make mistakes. You forgot that one. Don't make mistakes. The team that
don't make mistakes and you'll win the game.
Yeah. So the team that makes more mistakes, usually that's the team that's going to lose.
Yeah. And I feel like if you score a lot of points, you're going to win.
Also, you have to give up less points.
Right. Yeah.
And then, in order to keep on winning, you have to establish a winning culture.
Yeah. No, you don't want a losing culture. It makes it harder to win.
Yeah. All right. So that is my pick. I have Vikings Chargers over 52.5.
Next up, I've got, which one will you be surprised that I have more? Okay. I'll say Patriots minus 2.5 over the Browns. Look, I'm done betting against Bill Belichick. I said that the Patriots were mediocre. I said they weren't going to make the playoffs. I said all this about them. 3 wins in a row, going for their 4th one here. At home, we've seen the Browns are very inconsistent this season. We've seen them look really, really good. We've seen them look really, really bad. So this is just a case of like, I'm riding the hot hand. I'm riding the team that's won 3 in a row versus the inconsistent Browns.
Yeah, let's start with the Patriots. Because this is another game where, because this is my 3rd and final bet. I have under 45. And part of my reasoning for this is health. The Patriots just aren't healthy right now. And like the whole point of their whole entire offense is based upon kind of like the Browns. Like, if the Patriots run the ball well, then that's usually the ticket to win the game. But in this matchup right now, Damian Harris left the game with a concussion, and Ramondre Stevenson left the previous game with a concussion. So both of your top, I would say, pretty much you could say that they're the top 2 or 3 players on offense, not including Mac Jones. And it's hard to look at that and be like, yeah, I still feel confident about this team.
Yeah. And that's fair. But then you flip the script and Kareem Hunt's on the IR. It looks like Nick Chubb's not going to play this week. I mean, I think it's confirmed that he's not going to play this week, right? Yeah. That leaves who's Cleveland's 3rd? It's like something Washington, right? Cleveland's 3rd string running back.
It would be D'Ernest Johnson.
D'Ernest Johnson, yeah, okay. So that's like, I think these are 2 banged up teams, but I don't know, man. I'm done. I've doubted Bill Belichick in the past. I'm not going to do it anymore. I won't do it anymore.
Okay, so you know how I mentioned earlier in the show that I have the Myles Garrett take?
Yes.
Okay. Now, are you aware that Mac Jones nearly separated a player's ankle from his entire leg last week?
I did see that. That was wild. I did see that.
Yeah. So Brian Burns on the Panthers was really pissed about it. He was asked about it in a presser earlier this week. He said, "I would just like to play them again. And I wish all my fellow DN brothers happy hunting." Okay. Well, who has known to actually hunt and murder a quarterback? Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
good point.
who has laid out actual gravestones, or excuse me, tombstones and coffins in his front yard on Halloween for all the quarterbacks he sacked? Like, who actually associates death with football? Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Mac Jones might. Yeah, he needs to be careful because the minute Myles Garrett gets around the O line, better protect his ankle.
Mm-hmm. No, I think we're gonna get the new Schefter tweet. It's going to be cannibalism. Period.
yeah. Yeah, he's gonna move on from assault. Period.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Myles Garrett does have a chance to rip off Mac Jones' ankle and help out his fellow DN brothers, Brian Burns, and that'll be it.
He's gonna do what Dan Campbell said the Lions were gonna do.
Yes, exactly.
Bite off some kneecaps.
Mm-hmm. Myles Garrett is probably going to get most of Mac Jones' ACL, and whatever he has left, he'll probably save it for dinner.
Yeah, take it home, put it in a doggy bag.
Mm-hmm. Warm it up, throw some salt, pepper, and Lowry's. Yeah. All right. And then let's go. So I want to actually talk about the Browns now more in detail, because this is so once again, as you know, I love to get political, but the Browns are kind of a good example, especially Nick Chubb. And yeah, especially Nick Chubb, like it's kind of a good example of why you should get vaccinated, literally just for strategy's sake, because all he needs to do is have 2 positive tests within the span of 24 hours, and he could play on Sunday.
Yeah. And I mean, same goes for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, like literally just get it because it will help your team and you will actually make more money playing than not playing.
Yeah. Wow. There's another hard hitting stat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's why I'm betting against the Browns. Like, it's not a guarantee that, like the guys you mentioned will play. Like, Jesus, to have, and Demetric Felton. Oh, shout out UCLA.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Felton. I forgot about him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those guys are vaccinated. It's just COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the under is such an easy play right now.
Yeah, I do like the under. I know my pick was the spread, but I also do like the under there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's in Foxborough, right?
Yeah, in Foxborough.
Yeah.
So it does change things. And I don't know. My problem with the Browns right now is that they looked so good last week, but it really didn't have much to do with Baker.
No. When your running back puts up 137 yards, that's pretty nice.
And especially the way Nick Chubb runs, it is so easy. I mean, he's just a little bulldog. I mean, I know it's like no pun intended because he went to Georgia, but seriously, like he runs like a little bulldog.
He does. Yeah. He's such a good player. And I believe he's the most important player to that team. So anytime I see him not playing, I would not pick them to win.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, he's probably the most important Cleveland Brown since Jesus Christ, like Bernie Cosner and like the
Johnny
90s.
Manziel.
Never mind. Well, the problem is that he plays for them, so Johnny Manziel is ruled out.
Damn.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's true. Like, you can I mean, today's the 9-year anniversary of him beating Alabama.
Is it actually?
Yeah, if you're listening to it, so if you're listening to it right now, then yesterday was the 9-year anniversary of him beating Bama.
Wow, 9 years, huh? God, boy, am I getting up there.
Yeah. But my last note on this game is that, like, what we saw last week with the running game setting up the pass game is like you won't see another play action bomb from Baker to Jarvis Landry, or like last week he had a bomb to Donovan Peoples-Jones on a play action. You probably won't see that this week.
No, this is a better Patriots defense than the Bengals. You know that they're just not really going to let plays like that happen.
Yeah, JC Jackson's an absolute dog. Absolute dog. He's been one of like quietly like one of the best corners in the league. And the only reason why it's quiet is because of Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah. So I just don't see it with the Browns this week.
Mhm.
That's like the only I know that's not great. That doesn't make for great analysis, but it's just a feeling. It's just one of those feelings.
Mhm.
And just for the rest of the year, really, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I don't like the Browns going forward.
I no, I don't I do like the Browns, but I like the Browns with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I like
Yeah.
the Browns when they have their strengths.
Yeah, that's fair. that's a fair reason to like them when they have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I think that makes them better.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what is your third and final pick?
I've got Chiefs money line, and you probably think I'm the biggest Chiefs fan in the world right now because I keep saying they're gonna have their breakout game. They're gonna have their breakout game. It didn't come against the Giants, even though they won. It didn't come against the Packers, even though they won. But I'm gonna say it again. They're going to have their breakout game this week where they put up a lot of points. Vegas is kind of iffy right now. I think they go into Las Vegas. It's a shootout. It's a high scoring game. I think the Chiefs win and they kind of reestablish themselves as the top dog in the AFC West with a win in Vegas.
Well, how could it be a shootout? David Arnett's not on the team anymore.
Am I David Arnett?
Excuse me, Damon Arnett.
Which team? I don't know who that is. You've got
It's
me.
the
You got
okay.
me.
It's the quarterback that was waving a gun around. That was from Fortnite.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. He was the rookie, or not the rookie, but he was drafted the same year as Henry Ruggs, right?
Yeah, I fucked that up. Yeah, it's Damon Arnett, not David.
No, you're good. I've totally forgot about that video. I'm just kind of over the Raiders and their drama, dude. Like every week there's another player doing some shit like that.
Yeah. So, okay, I have a take on the Raiders that falls exactly in line with that. Every week, I think that this is the get right game. I think that this will be a dominating win where you can start to forget about Gruden, Ruggs, and then David Arnett waving around a gun from fucking Fortnite to some huge like rocket blaster.
See, and I'm the same way, just with the Chiefs and their play on the field. Like every week, I'm like, this is going to be their get right game where they finally put it all together. Mahomes is hitting Tyreek Hill on the deep balls. You know, Kelsey's getting open in the middle of the field, and it still hasn't happened yet. But I'm going to say it this week. It's going to happen this week.
You know what I think it's going to take?
Well,
I think Patrick Mahomes will start leaning into TikTok with Jackson.
I think him and his brother might need to create a shared account.
We just need one collab for the people because he's kind of playing the shtick of, oh, my annoying brother, guy riding my coattails. I don't want to be I'm at a Mexican restaurant eating tortilla chips. I don't want to be seen in any of these videos. No, I think he should be fully into it. Because frankly, now I watch Jackson Mahomes TikToks every single game. And my only take about them is that I think they're getting kind of weak because he does the same, like they're only, and the crazy part is about all this, one, is that they're only 7 seconds. And two, he's done the same dance like 3 times in a row. So I think Jackson and Patrick need to start cooking.
I think so. I think that will take all the pressure off of Mahomes on the field. He'll just feel like a free soul out there.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess the only other part is just don't dance on somebody's memorial.
Yeah, that was bad. That was all time bad.
Wow, that was in the yeah, I don't think we were recording at that time. I think that happened a little bit before our first episode, but the fact that it was literally roped off and you just see the screen, oh my god, the random pictures that you see of them standing right in the middle on Sean Taylor's jersey, that was oh my god. Yeah, so that is my final take, is that I want to see a collab between Jackson and Patrick, and I think that'll fix the Chiefs.
I like that. We need to get that trending on Twitter.
Because the entire world is praying for the Chiefs to lose because of Jackson Mahomes. If Jackson Mahomes didn't exist, then the Chiefs would be way more liked.
Yeah. Like if Seth Curry wasn't in the NBA and was doing TikToks while the Warriors were winning, it would have made them so much more unbearable.
Okay, it's like if Ben Verlander started doing TikToks.
Oh, Ben Verlander.
Yeah. So I mean that's like my final take. And I'll say until Patty collabs with Jackson, then you could just kiss the season goodbye. Because whatever reason, the skee ball passes, the crazy trickery, and the random flips and all this shit, it's not going to work. For whatever reason, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to Sunday. I kind of had this thought as I was walking into my room to start really grinding out the research to do all the hard hitting analysis. I just come away from this episode and earlier today thinking I don't see how any of these will lose. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm confident in my picks.
I did not have a good week last week. I think I went 1-3. The only pick that I won was the one you gave me.
Woo.
Yeah, so I mean, I purposely sat out the Monday night game just so I could get a fresh. So I literally just wanted a fresh slate. Week 9 was dead to me after Sunday. There was no such thing as Bears Steelers.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that Bears Steelers game.
I don't know. It was actually a very entertaining game.
It actually ended up being good. I did tune into the end. I thought that how about how about and I don't want to ramble too much on this, but how about announcer? I can't Monday Night Football announcer. Is it
Steve Levy?
Steve Levy thinking that the 65-yard field goal was a doink when it was 10 yards short.
Okay, well, I mean, that was bad. That was very funny. That was like Stantonian.
Yeah, it was bad.
But there was also another part that might have been Brian Greasy. I hope I don't care if I'm saying his last name wrong. It's Greasy.
It's Greasy. No, that is how it is. It's Brian Greasy.
You're gonna say Greasy as well after you hear this following little story. So he mentioned that Najee Harris, who's the Steelers running back, right? Got mentioned earlier in the show, but stud. That in his freshman year of college, he was sleeping on the floor, which he's not. I want to say freshman year of college or freshman year of high school. Was sleeping. I think it might have been college as well when he was at Bama. It's like he was sleeping on the floor and didn't have a bed. And then it came up on Najee Harris's timeline, and he quote tweeted and said, "Nah, this ain't true."
Yeah, I did see that. I did see that as that was developing. That
yeah, ESPN.
That was quite greasy of him,
of
Brian.
Very. But my thing with ESPN, I guess we'll just end on this note, is that ESPN loves 1, when people are homeless, and 2, when somebody's relatives died.
Yeah, ESPN NFL coverage is besides the Manning cast. Long live the Manning cast.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so always long live the Manning cast. But yeah, I just don't understand ESPN's obsession with death.
Because it's a story. Like it's a sob story, you know.
I know, but it's so sensational.
And it's also like, why do they feel the need to bring it up every time? Like, if I were that family, I wouldn't want it plastered all over ESPN.
Yeah, I don't know how I was wondering about that, especially like there was a draft, I think it was a couple years ago, where every single storyline that came when the player was picked was about some grandma who or some relative who was shot in a drive-by, or a grandma who had leukemia.
Yeah, they just don't know. They don't know how else to cover players.
But my thing is this is like, do players are they allowed to say, don't talk about this?
They have to be. I would think like
you hope so, but you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I feel like if I was ever drafted, which actually has a very high possibility, but if I was ever drafted, I think I would want people to know me for happy things.
Yeah, I wouldn't want the sad stuff I've been through in my life to be like my defining like attributes, I guess, in the draft. Like, that's not the only way people can like connect with me, I guess, as a player, you know. Like, I have good things in life too. Like, if I were those players, I would want those highlighted. Yeah, like I would. And if there is the only sob story you should bring up is about the guy who walked on to the program, who's like a Rudy story, typical Rudy story. Yeah.
Walk onto the program, had no shot of making it. and was on a practice squad for months on months, getting his ass kicked, and eventually worked his way up.
Yeah, those are the best.
Mm-hmm. Jesus, fucking ESPN, man. Oh, what are we gonna do? Yeah. All right, you got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. All right. So thank you guys so much for listening to, I believe, week 10, little week 10 preview. We were doing this before the Thursday night game. And yeah, so if you would like to follow myself on social media, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MattWeiner20. If you'd like to follow Edward on his Instagram and Twitter, you could find him at Edward_Vento. And if you have no care in the world for anything we have to say, then make sure to follow OK Takes on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at OK Takes Pod. That is OKAY Takes Pod. OKAY Takes Pod. Takes 2 seconds and will help us tremendously. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and have a wonderful day.